Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to another Learn Data Science in 6 months video. This is actually video 14 in the series, so as I mentioned last video, we are now more than halfway, which is a very exciting milestone. Funny enough, this week I decided to take it a little slow. I don't know if I mentioned this previous video, I for sure mentioned it in episode 12 that things have started to really slow down mentally. I haven't been able to get as deep as I used to for a while. In weeks, I don't know, 6 to 10, I was doing very good work. I had around 4 to 6 deep work hours where I would just code and learn a little bit of stats, and it would be great days. But lately, my brain has just not been, functioning at that level. And so I found myself doing a little bit more small tasks rather than to learn deep things. Now, this is okay, but for next week, which is going to be week 15, I'm going to try to see what I could do to pick it up for sure. Now, this week, the rundown, if you want the short little summary, like I always do, this is it. The rundown is I did a bunch of Code Wars, which I mentioned before, is a place to practice your Python. And I am getting ready to make a video on my first EDA, which is exploratory data analysis on a COVID dataset. So that's going to be the next video. So I'm not going to say anything else, but I've been working on that. So that's all I really have to show for this week. And now you're free to go if that's all you needed to know for the curriculum. But I really did want to get deeper into the Think Stats book and do chapter 10. Last week I only did one chapter. This week I didn't do any chapter. So I think that next week I'm going to really double down on that. I'm almost done with the book. I think I need to either change environments, change times of study, or do something, but I'm definitely going to do it. I have been putting a lot of energy, like I said, in these smaller tasks, which is getting this video, the next video ready for you, which is going to be my first EDA. And there's little things like screen recording and which Jupyter notebook I was going to use. Now, there's only one Jupyter notebook, but there's actually a way to use Jupyter notebooks inside of IDEs, so inside of coding environments. And I know this isn't a practice that a lot of people like to do, but personally, in my view, I find IDEs to be my favorite. I really do like them. They help me so much with the little things, the little mistakes, the debugging, the linting. You know, I love them. They're fully fledged coding environments. Now, the new IDE that I picked up, which some people would argue isn't so fully fledged, is Code. Sorry, VS Code. Is it VS Code? My bad. Hold up. Pretty sure it's VS Code. It's by Microsoft, and I kind of don't like the outlook of the look of it. I don't like the UI. I don't like the fact that you have to install so many extensions to make it like personalized. I don't really enjoy it, but it's more of a text editor than anything. I would want to stick to my PyCharm. It's what I love, but both of these two IDEs allow you to do Jupyter notebooks within it, and I kind of enjoy that. Jupyter notebooks, I feel like, because you run them in your browser, just isn't so fully fledged. Um, as a tip, my favorite thing in Jupyter notebooks has to be the Shift Enter. I'm trying to get the Shift Enter to work in VS Code, and I can't get it to work. What it ends up doing when I do Shift Enter in VS Code, it tries to run my code in a Jupyter notebook, but I think only one line of my code, whatever line I had selected, it's, that's what I've been doing this week. It hasn't been so deep learning, but it has been a lot of learning, shallow work. So I think that between last week being half shallow, half deep work, and this week being a lot of shallow work, I think that next week is going to be a great week. I'm going to try to make it as great as possible. I'll tell you right now what we're going to do so that I do it. We're going to do chapter 10, chapter 11, and chapter 13. So I'm going to go full out and say I'm going to do 3 chapters next week. Even though the last 2 weeks I've only done 1, I can easily finish 2 in a week, and this time I'm going to find the extra time, even work even more if I need to in order to finish 3 chapters and get those questions done. But also, like I said, for the next video is going to be exploratory data analysis, so it's going to be, they go hand in hand, but it's going to be a lot of work I'm giving myself for next week, but it's okay because I had this week to kind of prepare for this next week. So a little tip for those who are following along and studying with me or doing their own curriculum. If a week is not good, it's okay. You always have the next week. Now, I have to say that if you have multiple weeks that you are not able to do deep work, then there is something structurally wrong, or some method that you're following in order to prepare for studying that isn't working the same. Or, you just need a change of environment. But in general, if you have 1 week that's sort of off, that you can't really focus, that's okay. We all go through that. You should not try to study so hard if you find that you can't. That would just make the process painful. And honestly, so far in these 13 weeks, basically, I have never ever felt like I was studying just to study. I never felt like it was a lot of pain. Sure, some questions caused me a lot of angst because I couldn't figure them out for a day or two. But other than that, every second of studying has been great and has been enjoyable. This last week, I cannot say the same. This last week, it was a pain to get through chapter 10. I just didn't, or, start chapter 10 because I didn't actually get through it. It was just so much, just work that I didn't want to do. So instead, what I did, I just spent a little bit more time reading other things like data science blogs, learning about a new IDE, and kind of get my mind off of the book for a little while so that I can come back ready to go. And yeah, I feel great now. I feel pumped. And 3 chapters next week for sure. That is what we're going to do. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys this week. Not a lot of updates with the book, but a lot of small updates. Next week, big update on the book and COVID dataset. So thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Peace.